Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. Fuck ice. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty. Unsurprising, I'm going to do another Mad Cave Studio today because, honestly, they put out great stuff. This one is Blüdwire. Now, I didn't put this on my pull list. I don't really know enough about the two creators involved, or multiple creators involved. Their names didn't really resonate with me. I like the core concept. Regular Customer did add it to his pull list, and I was like, yeah, cool, you've got good taste. I'll give it a read. I'll give it a review. It's amazing. Genuinely love it. Any criticism I have are tiny little bits, in a later scene very near the end of the comic book there's some violence going on which is retributional and very deserved, but part of the framing of it means I don't know exactly how a body is supposed to be imposed. Literally the only criticism I have off the top of my head. What do I like about it though? Well, that is saying something, because early on we start with these two absolute arseholes of men having the kind of terrible conversation you can only really have with another arsehole of a man. Thankfully not one I've ever had, but it's the kind of language which is normalised in terms of its misogyny and its sexism, and it's the kind of thing that gets written off as locker room talk or even as debate bro kind of thing, as in, yes, I might have terrible opinions, but listen to me, if I can talk to you long enough and use big words, I can convince you that I am right, and that means I am right. And that's not true at all, and thankfully they then get murdered. Don't worry, it's a very violent comic book. This is not even like the first terrible bit of violence happens in it, but be prepared for lots of violence in this comic book. But after that we go to a nice slower moment, because the reason the murder happens is, and yeah, okay, I'm doing little bits of spoilers here, none of them are major plot development spoilers, but if you'd rather not have me tell you everything that happens in the comic book, I totally understand. Go and read it first, then come back to me. But the slow moment involves the rescue. That's why these two dudes got murdered. There is two synthetic organisms, synthetic life forms, one of which is rescuing the other. The one that's being rescued at the point of rescue is just a head, and during the rescue she's placed onto a body. She is unhappy because it's not her body. The person rescuing her, she quite rightly is worried that, they've just done some murders, cops are on the way, speed is of the essence, but in a wonderfully subtle but fantastic bit of writing, she corrects herself and realises that bodily autonomy will always matter. Yes, sometimes it may be inconvenient, but nowhere near as inconvenient as for the person whose body you are taking care of. You need to show respect for the way they want to live their life, and I'm like, yeah, brilliant. Happy Pride Month. Best queer comic book I've been reading for a while. And honestly, I read a lot of these kind of things. I feel like it's worth engaging with, and this is fantastic. Pally Aylor has done an amazing job setting this up. Their use of timing for a lot of this is going to come out through the review, but if I'm going to nail down one particular moment I loved, because it is almost cinematic in how the timing of it works, there is somebody trying to bluff a little bit, trying to spew some bull to make out that they're not a danger, to give them a chance to pull a gun, and then they pull the gun and then things happen as a result of it. The timing of it mixed with the dialogue and the layout is just brilliant. It flows, but also does a little bit of a snap reaction at certain points, interrupt it at points, feels like it needs to happen. Love it for that. And later on we get the kind of violence in a comic book which I didn't know I needed. Because yes, it is anti-cop, and don't get me wrong, there's a really nice conversation to be had about, well, what if the cop's a minority? I thought that was very nicely handled. Again, Pally is an amazing writer. But it is the combat from Amitis Blanco, apologies if I pronounced that name wrong, where we get to see full-on intense visceral violence. And it's the kind of thing where I've only really thought about in terms of video games before. In fact, I want to feel the violence. I'm playing one of the Horizon games at the moment, and there are moments when a shot hits you, or you loose an arrow, and you can almost feel the intensity of it. This comic book almost makes you feel that way. Every hit is brutal. There are times spent on violence which runs a little bit longer than I think most people are comfortable with, but that is good. This ties into how the story progresses, and one of the key aspects from this first issue, which is violence. Yes, I mentioned it a few times. The timing of it in the comic book is brilliant. The way it's shown on the page is beautiful. But this is violence, political violence done from minorities against the state, and whether or not that should be agreeable, allowable even. And I'm one of those people who say, yes, because violence from the top happens all the damn time. In this particular case, we have a nice little difference of opinion on the fine, more granular points of it. But what it comes down to, I think, is the comic book showing you that, yes, sometimes you will need to do that, but never take it lightly. the brutality is there for a reason. If you're going to go for political violence, you have to understand the repercussions of it, both to the other people and to yourself. These things all matter. And for a comic book about robots, it does a really, really good job. Genuinely can't wait for the rest of it. That's me for now, though. Until I see you all again, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe.